Hey all, Tyler here. I wanted to apologize for getting this episode out so ungodly late. Our original plan was that we were going to have 3 Halloween episodes in October to make up for the fact that we missed a second episode in August. But we kinda hit a roadblock because the third episode, aka this one, that we were going to do was on the 1967 Rankin Bass project, Mad Monster Party, which is a movie we're not exactly fond of, but due to the untimely passing of Jules Bass, rest in peace, we decided it would have been of bad taste to rip on a movie he was involved with right after he passed, so instead we decided to do this one, and that's kind of why it took so long to get this one out, since we had to scramble with our schedules and whatnot. So again, apologies for that, and I'm hoping this month to get 3 episodes out instead of the usual 2, but I can't exactly make any promises to that, so we'll at least see how it fares in December, so stay tuned on that. And now, on with the show. And welcome to the final week of Funeral KRT, where like most haunts, we're gonna keep everything going for another week due to scheduling issues. I'm Tyler Grinch. I tried.
How bad can I be? I'm just doing what comes naturally. I'm Kit Quinn, by the way.
Yeah. Was it worth it? Well, I know the answer. I know it's yes, but
I had a very, very, very brief Onceler phase when that movie first came out, and I am just...
We forgive you.
Aww.
You're forgiven, especially because now you have a Doc Ock face,
Aww.
which is objectively better. I'm Rand I Am.
At least you're not Rand Paul.
Or Ayn Rand.
And here to help us close out our Halloween festivities, we have a very special guest. You know her on Twitter and in our Discord server as Guess I'm Demons. You know her as my lovely girlfriend. Please welcome to the show, Lottie.
Hi.
Bestie.
Hi.
Hi.
Finally.
Tonight I learned that Whoville is New Jersey, and that's all I got for you.
Oh my god, I just realized your Seuss name could be the Lottie Rex.
Oh,
Wait, well, we have to give her a Halloween name, so... Slaughtery?
The Slaughtery just sounds like a horror-themed, lottery show where it's instead of little balls rolling in the lottery numbers, it's little eyeballs, and you have this, monster guy pick them up, and he'll be like, 7.
wow, the sequel to Squid Game sounds great.
Okay, we're making the Slaughtery a thing, and it's gonna be the most cheesy horror thing ever. It's gonna be 80s, 50s B-movie schlock, and it's gonna be awesome.
We have to get Robert Englund to host it. That's a given.
Yes.
And I need it to be as Beetlejuicy as possible.
Squid Game, The Running Man, basically insert other 80s. This is what you're betting your way. Actually, given how many people are saying, I wouldn't go out on Grinch night for insert amount of cents, this might as well be a new season of Squid Game.
Alright, so we are talking about the 1977 Dr. Seuss TV special, Halloween is Grinch Night. And I gotta tell you, this is a very interesting piece of Seuss media in that it's the only thing I can think of Seuss related that's intentionally scary.
Once they started making adaptations in the 70s for Seuss, they started getting a lot more experimental with the art direction, because I remember growing up, I really loved the Cat in the Hat 1971 special, and that had some trippy ass art direction in it.
I remember the brief period in the mid-2000s where Universal was just re-releasing all the old Seuss shorts. I'm not sure if this was one of them, but I think I found out about this movie through those reissues, and I also learned of another interesting piece of Seuss media, the Grinch is the Cat in the Hat, which to kid me was equally as terrifying, I should say.
So the thing about 70s animation is that you were only allowed to do 4 things, basically. Trippy, Scooby-Doo ripoff, celebrities, or porn.
Sometimes all 4.
Hey!
The 70s could be a bit of a mixed bag for animation, mostly because sometimes they were really limited in their resources. And
Either way, your budget was $5 and a 6-pack of Coke. Look,
But I gotta say that when it got good, it got really damn good. Like, they weren't afraid to go all out, get all experimental. Even Disney during this time, as much as that's supposed to be their dark era, they managed to get some really good stuff out of that as well.
And it's really interesting that Dr. Seuss, Ted Geisel, was willing to branch out into like animated media, not just the books, because we got some really out there shit. Like, we got this, we got the Hoover Blue Highway. Again, we got the Grinch is the Cat in the Hat, which is another one we gotta do one of these days.
Yes, we also got the
Yes.
Lorax and Horton Hears a Who adaptations. Funny enough, when I owned the original Grinch movie as a kid, it came as a double feature of VHS, but with Horton Hears a Who. I'm genuinely surprised they didn't add this one, but I wonder if it was like some licensing thing with Warner Brothers. But yeah, I learned about this special. Well, it's probably not the easiest name to mention these days. I learned about it from the Nostalgia Critic, and yes, and I actually remembered catching little pieces of it somewhere else, so...
it was in his top 11 nostalgic mindfucks, wasn't it?
That's what it was. Okay, I was trying to remember what that was from.
And I gotta say, it also helped because I had actually seen little bits and pieces of the special before I had seen that review, so for everything now that you can say about it, it did help me rediscover this special, and it was really great to really get to find it again.
Also, for the listener, no, I haven't seen Phalis' recently uploaded video on this yet, so if I parrot any jokes from that unintentionally, I'm sorry.
Timing!
Yay! I really do need to go back down the Phalis rabbit hole. I used to love his videos.
Same.
Agreed. It's actually kind of interesting looking at this because apparently this is a prequel to the original Grinch, which I guess makes sense, but for some reason the Seuss franchise was just obsessed with making the Grinch a straight up bastard for a while. Like, not just hating Christmas, but...
We're gonna get to it later, but he's a fucking savage in this.
Oh, God.
And I love it.
To the point where I actually think that his antics in this are fucking hilarious and probably even better than the original Grinch cartoon. So
absolutely. Like, in this one, because Boris Karloff had sadly passed away by this point, they got Hans Conried, who you may recognize as Captain Hook.
yes!
He gives a brilliant voice performance here. Like, it fits the Grinch perfectly.
He was kind of giving me Jewish uncle vibes at first. I'm not sure why, but...
I just wish they could have got Chuck Jones on this one.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like, the one thing about this that it will never match up to the original one is just the Chuck Jones style.
Absolutely. Although, this one was directed by a guy, Gerard Baldwin, who had actually worked on a lot of Smurfs media before this, so that was interesting.
This one definitely reflected the style of the actual Seuss books way more.
Yes, like the Grinch looks a lot more like how he did in the book here, and a lot less Chuck Jonesy, I've noticed.
I feel like making something less Chuck Jonesy is kind of a downgrade, but you know, we can't always get what we want.
Also, Thurl Ravenscroft actually returned to provide singing vocals for this one.
Oh, yes, I noticed that.
The
Hell
goat
yeah.
himself, Meow Reese.
We gotta add him to the no escape list soon, by the way.
Well, Paul Frees and the Mellow Men are part of the chorus in this, so...
I love Paul Frees because every fucking role he does, he's like, wait, we got to bring the boys with me.
The boys.
Saturday is for the boys.
Oh, God, no.
Although, whenever Paul Frees and the Mellow Men get together, I'm assuming that the Mellow Men have to be in gray face paint to look like their statue counterparts in the Haunted Mansion. Also, another big name involved with this, Joe Raposo was the composer for this.
That's right, of Sesame Street fame.
God, so this is kind of a weird bookend in that our first topic had Johnny Costa from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Now we have Joe Raposo from Sesame Street, and I gotta say, it's so fucking awesome when they get out of their comfort zone.
Fuck yeah. They really get to go all out here. And I gotta imagine also the animators had a ton of fun with this one as well, because they got to really go all out with their nightmare fuel designs in the best way.
This was produced by David H. DePatie and Friz Frayling, who were, I believe at that time, were handling the Tom and Jerry shorts, I think.
Friz Frayling also being of the golden age of Looney Tunes alumni.
So, needless to say, this special was in pretty good hands.
Hell yeah. I was expecting when I very first discovered it that I wasn't gonna like it at first, because I was like, I don't know, they're erasing a lot of what made the Grinch still so enjoyable, but once I watched it, I was like, fuck yeah, I love this. They managed to make it really work, even when it gets really dialogue heavy. And I love how it isn't afraid to genuinely scare kids. Like, if anything, the big buildup is what ultimately makes the ending so the way it is.
It kind of goes out with a whimper, and I kind of love that it does.
Agreed.
But of course, we'll get to that in a second. I do want to get into my Seuss history for a second, because I kind of have some baggage I need to drop, and that when I was a kid, I always did like the Seuss books, but there was just something about them that creeped me out. And like, the ringleader of all of that was, of course, the fucking Cat in the Hat, who I was fucking petrified of as a kid.
Yeah, you know, hey, don't kids love home invaders that, you know, mess up your house and, you know, try to get you in trouble for it?
Why does the Seuss franchise love demonizing the Grinch so much when the Cat in the Hat is right there? Like, he's a creepy motherfucker.
Kid, they did villainize the Cat in the Hat. What do you think the 2003 movie was for?
True.
I don't care what anyone says. I love that movie.
I've said this before, but I'll say it again. As an adaptation of the book, it's complete dog shit. As its own thing, it's a fucking masterpiece.
If they had just framed this as like a parody of Seuss, it would have been gold.
But looking back as a kid, I couldn't really explain why I was afraid of the Cat in the Hat. It got to the point where when I was around the demographic for that Whoville World of Dr. Seuss show, I just wouldn't fucking watch it at all.
Yeah, that's
I would
valid.
not fucking watch it. And I have the specific core memory of going into like a Hallmark with my aunt as a kid, and I saw this Dr. Seuss like Christmas card with the Cat in the Hat poking out, but it's like the live action like meet and greet Cat in the Hat that you see of Islands of Adventure.
Oh,
and you
God.
see like the top of his head, and it fucking freaked me out. I was having like just a meltdown in the store trying to get away from it.
Oh man, I relate to that, because I remember that the mental breakdown scene in Cat in the Hat 1971 used to freak me out badly.
Shut up in a slappa. I'm a shapka 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 in a slappa. I'm a slapka 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 in a slappa. That's enough of that. I'm a cat in a hat.
Yeah, I can kind of see why this one's been a little bit forgotten to time. It's because I can say that if you're so used to the style of the original Grinch movie, it's going to look a little off-putting by that, and because of all the scary imagery. But I definitely highly recommend checking it out if you haven't, because it's really fun.
So getting into this special, I think we should address the elephant in the room, in that we don't know exactly what the timeline is on this. It's kind of vague as to whether it's happened before or after Christmas.
Well, they say it's a prequel, so I imagine before, but yeah. So we jump into this special with some of the trippy opening, and it's pretty delightful. It rings up a lot of, I don't know how to describe it, a lot of how a lot of the Peanuts movies in the 70s would open, with kind of that jazzy sound and that whole, let's build up the imagery that you're in for, and just everybody's on LSD.
Oh god. This really was the 70s in the best way possible.
It was the 70s. Everyone was on drugs. Even your dogs were doing acid.
Also, when they cut to Whoville and they're sniffing the air, I was like, it's cocaine.
Get a sniff of that sweet, sweet New Jersey air.
Yes.
So what you're saying is New Jersey smells like sweet and sour sauce from McDonald's all the time? Because I think that's true. I've smelled it before.
Close enough.
That means Harley Quinn is somewhere in Whoville, and I love that.
I'm just saying, breathing in that air just probably cut some of those Who's lifespans off by like 10 years.
Also, Grandma Mariah looked so much like Dee Dee Pickles, it was distracting.
Oh, she kind of did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then, as they're all singing about how we gotta lock up, I'm just like, Are you sure there aren't, like, Grinch denying who's that were like, fuck you, I won't be held down by fear. I'm going to go out on Grinch night, and I don't care what happens. If I die, I die.
You mean Euchariah?
Yes. But, I mean, he had a reason. He was going to stand up to the Grinch.
They're gonna spend a night in the paraphernalia wagon and still deny everything, probably out of trauma.
He just out of nowhere is kind of like, hey, I have to go to the euphemism, and you know, he was walking towards an outhouse, so at first I thought, oh, is euphemism a euphemism for the shitter?
I kind of love that they call it the euphemism. It's just it sounds like a Seuss land already, and I love it.
I can't explain why, but it just makes it sound even dirtier.
Like, euphemism for what? What are you trying to do here?
Kid, what are you gonna do?
And also, the reason the Grinch comes out on Grinch night is because of a whole bunch of happy accidents. Like, once the sweet and sour wind starts, the Gleep Glop start growling. The
Gree Grumps and the Hackin' Cracks.
The Gree Grumps and the Hackings.
Hey, I'm Grump. I'm not so Grump. And we're the Gree Grumps.
God.
So basically what happens is a bunch of bobcats start screaming, and that upsets a bunch of Loch Ness monsters, and they start screaming, and that makes the air smell like sweet and sour sauce from McDonald's for some reason.
Oh god, everybody in Whoville is gonna start harassing McDonald's workers for the Rick and Morty sauce.
Oh,
No, we don't talk about that.
Also,
dub.
No, they're gonna be harassing them for the BTS meal.
it's a wonderful night for eyebrows.
Yeah, so the Grinch's eyebrows are fucking sentient. Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Original Grinch story. Why didn't you touch on the fact that he has sentient eyebrows?
His eyebrows are the ones who tell him, hey man, you shouldn't steal Christmas.
Do the eyebrows just like go into hibernation in the winter or something?
That should have been a part of his backstory in Grinch 2000. They should have given an extremely long, unnecessary backstory to the eyebrows.
Do you think his eyebrows go grocery shopping for him?
Yes, they do.
Well, I mean, his eyebrows are probably the only ones like allowed in Whoville at this point. I don't even know how, and I'm kind of spoiling it, Forgive me for spoiling this nearly 50-year-old Halloween special, but
how dare you?
Max does end up going with Euchariah, which, like, if this is a prequel, I am to assume that they saw Euchariah coming back with the Grinch's dog, and they were like, fuck no, put it back. That is the Grinch's dog. What is wrong with you? And now Max has to deal with him.
That or the Grinch maybe adopted another dog and named him Max, because, I mean, he looks kind of different, so...
Yeah, I think it just might be a new Max.
We're gonna need a new Max.
We're going to need another Max.
Also known as Denial.
Yay!
So the grandfather, Josiah, sings about how he won't go out for, like, very specific prices. Like, for starters, he sings,
I wouldn't go out on a night like this for $2.50.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. That shit's below minimum wage.
How to tell this was made before inflation.
I mean, just think of the poor Who's who have to work in the gig economy and still deliver, like, your Who Dash or whatever. I don't know.
It's so weird. It's like, that's such a specific amount. Like, there's actually a lot of really, like, meaningless things that, no, I wouldn't do for $1.50. I wouldn't do your dishes for $1.95. That doesn't mean that I would die if I do your dishes.
Also, the line, I like this with my glasses off. You put your glasses back on and face the facts. That's gotta be a metaphor for propaganda, right?
Just wait till we get back to that line later.
Wasn't that like a really popular Tumblr post for a while? Because
there was.
Yes.
It was with the spoiler, the one where they use it again with the Grinch, but yeah.
Just the way Hans Conried just sells that line is just fucking beautiful.
I like you much better with my glasses off.
You put your glasses back on and face the facts.
And that's another thing, too. Hans Conried is having the time of his fucking life as the Grinch.
Absolutely.
Like, I will admit he's no Boris Karloff, but he still puts his all into this, and it's a fuck ton of fun.
It's actually kind of funny because at points he was ringing so much of Christopher Lloyd that I had to double check to make sure that wasn't him. Also, I hate to admit it, but I feel like Grinch 2000 was very inspired by this special because of how the
yes.
Grinch sounds exactly like him in that one.
I gotta say that if they ever did a live-action Halloween as Grinch Night, God forbid, just imagine the fucking sheer trauma that movie would have caused.
Oh, God.
Oh my god. More trauma than the 2000 Grinch movie, though?
Weirdly enough, I was never afraid of the Grinch as a kid. It was always the Cat in the Hat that did it for me.
Valid.
Like, the intentionally scary Dr. Seuss character isn't scary to me, but the one you're supposed to find funny is.
The Grinch should have been the Tumblr sexy man. Change my mind.
No.
Also, I love that they casually kind of bring up that Euchariah has astigmatism. I actually have astigmatism, so I was like, nice little bit of representation. I dig it.
He does kind of go on a nerd rant, though.
Nerd! Nerd!
Euchariah dodges the draft. Actually, I wonder if they leaned in way more of this special, I feel like the Grinch could have been a metaphor for the Vietnam War. Change my mind.
Oh my god.
Also, just listening to those names, Euchariah, Zachariah, they're Amish, aren't they?
Yes,
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
We just spending most our lives living in a Whoville paradise.
So speaking of songs, The Grinch Night Ball was a really good song, and I kind of wish they would have expanded on it, because you could have gotten like these scenes of the Grinch, fantasizing about how he's gonna traumatize the Who's. And I gotta say, I was also getting a lot of mileage out of the clunky ass dancing animation that we got.
Yeah, it was pretty fun to look at.
There was one point where he turns around and it looks like he's doing the fake making out motion or whatever.
He was gonna fuck Grandma Mariah. Change my mind.
So, we just had a 2000s Dr. Seuss movie moment and a 70s Dr. Seuss movie.
Oh, God.
So the real meaning of Grinch Night is that he comes in and he fucks your woman.
Yay. Bah, why didn't this special have Martha May? 0 stars.
That's how he steals Christmas, too. He, comes in dressed as Santa and he fucks your wife.
How do we know that little girl wasn't his possible daughter because of this?
Gasp.
We don't know.
I mean, Cindy Lou Who isn't in this, so I guess he is the father?
Oh my god.
Who knows? Who knows?
Well then, we just uncovered something.
Also, the Grinch tries to kill the last Wuzzy Woozoo.
I mean, that Wuzzy Woozoo wasn't minding his business, so.
True.
Or it was a mob hit.
What is he, a dentist on a trip to Africa?
We skipped over the Grinch Alarm Center, which, well, I guess that was out of commission once Christmas fucking rolled up. Also, the guy running it sounded a lot like Billy West.
This is not a recording, this is me in person. Your Grinch Alarm Warden, Sergeant Samuel S. McPherson. It is my duty to inform you if conditions improve or if they worsen.
Yeah, he was actually voiced by Henry Gibson, who was actually the guy who fell in the car in Blues Brothers.
Oh, that's another thing, too. Paul Winchell was one of the singers for the Paraphernalia Wagon segment.
That's right, and June Foray.
And speaking of the Paraphernalia Wagon, which is what the Grinch carries around, that is such a lit fucking name. I'm surprised that he isn't carrying at least some illegal substances in that.
He was delivering a bunch of pot in there.
So, this is war on drugs propaganda because he clearly got Euchariah stoned.
Plot twist, there wasn't anything in the Paraphernalia Wagon. He just got him doped up on hallucinogenics.
I love Dr. Seuss, terminology so much. You have, real words that are just, crazy sounding. The euphemism, paraphernalia. And if he can't find one, he just makes one up. The Wizzy Woozle, or whatever the fuck that endangered species thing was called.
I love that he has all these random animals with various names, and then he's like, oh yeah, there's a dog.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Max's arc yet. He's such a good boy.
He is, although, man, it adds a weird twist to their relationship with this, because it's like, dang, he's talking about how he had this life before the Grinch, and how his aunt would be so unproud of him, and just, it's fucked up.
The song's actually fucking sad.
Yeah.
How is he worse to Max in this than he is to him in the Christmas one?
At least in the Christmas one, it's all cartoony. And at the end, he ultimately shows he still loves him, but
Like,
Yeah.
in the cartoon, Max comes off as more of like, the bumbling sidekick that he gets aggravated at. Whereas here, he's just like abusing this animal.
I don't mean this as disrespect, but was Gary Shapiro going through puberty while voicing Euchariah? Because his voice kind of cracks a lot.
We have Arthur at home. Arthur at home.
And then he's like, "Oh, a doggy. I'm gonna take you home." It's like, you can't just take dogs that aren't yours, Euchariah.
Every day when you're walking down the street, you get kidnapped by a Grinch, and he traumatizes the shit out of you.
And I say, hey.
Hey!
Every day when you're walking down the street, you just pick up a dog and leave.
Good for you, kid. Also, speaking of cute animals, I'm just gonna say it. The green grumps are cute. I want one.
They are.
Same.
I want
Yeah.
one. I want
so snuggly.
I also love how Euchariah is basically just trolling the Grinch, and he's all, "Oh, I like being scared," and it's just clearly driving the Grinch crazy.
Also, another thing I just remembered too, in the Grinch Night Ball dancing segment, he makes himself shrink and then grow to the size of a kaiju.
Oh god!
Why doesn't he just destroy Whoville?
Yeah,
Why doesn't he just stomp on the entire town?
He's got some weird logic.
The Monty Python foot.
It's very obvious that the Who's are racist, so, like, let's just get rid of it.
Yeah, fuck him. Why should he have to change for these assholes?
Exactly.
Literally, in the Christmas special, he hates them just because he hates noise and he doesn't like it being noisy. Dude's probably neurodivergent and having sensory overload.
That's actually kind of what Grinch 2018 does. They give him an anxiety disorder in that one, and it's actually pretty good. Yeah, I actually think that movie's kind of underrated, honestly.
Ooh, yes.
Definitely a way better Illumination Seuss movie than the Lorax, that's for sure.
Also, like I said, the scene with Max remembering, like his life before the Grinch, it's legitimately sad. And then when you get the Grinch straight up mocking him for it, like, it's even worse.
In your puppy house, Betty, with sweet Auntie Wolfie Wolfoon, feeding you hominy grits with a big silver spoon?
Yeesh, this is straight up abusive. Like, Max, don't go back to that fucker. Also, if I do have one nitpick about this special, is that sometimes it's a little too dialogue heavy. Like, they'll have someone say,
Until finally Euchariah said,
Grandpa Josiah?
and Grandpa Josiah said,
Yes, Euchariah?
and Euchariah said,
Grandpa, we've stood and we've stood, and stooding just stooding produces no good.
We get it. They're saying things.
it's like the 1988 Alice, the stop motion one, where they'd always cut back to the little girl's lips. It was like, okay, we get it.
It's Peppa Pig, but in the 1970s.
Oh, God.
Peppa was about to go do some cocaine and listen to the Ramones.
We have to go to the euphemism, Peppa said.
Georgie just got picked up by the Grinch and we'll never see him again. Good.
Who wants green eggs and back bacon?
Oh, jeez.
Meanwhile, Daddy Pig was too busy selling more cocaine to rich New York businessmen.
Good for him. Speaking of songs we really like, there's this segment when the Grinch is slowly coming down Mount Crumpet, and we get this song that's really cheerful, despite the fact that they're singing about how the Grinch is going to come fuck shit up.
It has this very lighthearted tone to it, and it's just so funny because it's like, the Grinch is going to destroy everything we know.
As the Grinch creaks ever closer to your little front yard gates, he's engaged in Grinchy practices that every who abominates. He defoliates, depreciates, deflating all the things he hates, and frequently expectorates.
I love West Side Story.
That's another thing, too. For something that promises a Grinch night, we don't really get an actual Grinch night, do we?
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't get a Grinch night.
They don't even say Halloween in this.
Euchariah fucks up Grinch night.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with Halloween, except it saying Halloween in the title.
Oh, one thing I wanted to correct from earlier, it's actually not Henry Gibson who I was saying was voicing the sergeant. It was actually Jack DeLeon. He was the one who fell into the car. Yeah, Henry Gibson was actually the voice of Wilbur in Charlotte's Web, so interesting.
Also, I got brickles in my britches. Words
No
to
comment.
live by.
That's what she said.
No!
The Office hater and Lottie just came out.
Listen, I sat through all 9 seasons of that show.
Oh, babe, I'm so sorry. I'll do you one worse. I hyperfixated on Friends in high school.
Oh, no.
Why? Of all the shows.
Also, I love the irony in the fact that the Grinch Watch Alert guy is saying, "Oh no, look what he's doing now," when he's chasing the pink thingy, except no one can see what he's doing, you moron. You're speaking through an audio-only medium.
Wait. You're telling me that Whoville has Grinchfo wars?
Yeah, that's another thing, too. How many people are spreading, misinformation about the Grinch or whatever, and that he's actually good for Whoville?
I'm tired of them putting chemicals in the water that turn the frickin' Grinch gay!
It's like that Simpsons bit where the chicken is in the oven, they think it's Homer.
Now, this technology is new to me, but I'm pretty sure that's Homer Simpson in the oven, rotating slowly. His body temperature has risen to over 400 degrees. He's literally stewing in his own juices.
Oh, God, just imagine that in some twisted fucking universe, that at some point in Whoville, the Grinch is probably gonna run for mayor.
Oh, God. He's gonna convince everybody, we gotta take down the holidays. So he'll be the opposite of Republicans, that he'll say no Christmas at all.
Oh, I was just about to say make Whoville Grinch again.
No!
We get the scene where Euchariah confronts the Grinch, and he's like, "I want you to scare me!" So at first what the Grinch does is he attacks him with his eyebrows. So again, that's full circle, but why eyebrows?
So in the 2000 movie, he lied. It turns out he has Goob's backstory where it's like, hey Grinch, cool binder. Hey Grinch, want to come over to my house today? They all hated me.
But also, you would think that the Grinch would really be into traumatizing this child even more.
He's like, well, he can't actually want to be scared. It just takes the fun out of it.
And then let's just jump into it, guys. This is just a good fucking segment overall.
The acid trip segment. Fuck yes.
I need just the right stuff for it.
Jesus Christ.
Where do you even begin with this segment? It's beautiful.
That fucking score, first of all. Joe Raposo knew exactly what he was doing.
That song is catchy as all hell.
Grinch is gonna get ya, Grinch is gonna get ya, listen, big fella, yeah.
Although I was a little scared when I first saw those creatures in the robes. I was like, please tell me those aren't Klansmen.
Oh, I thought
God.
they had the same thought.
Well, I mean, in one shot, there's this thing with 4 legs rolling, and it's a fucking swastika.
Oh, God.
geez.
It's Freddy as FR07 all over again.
Ugh.
They put a fucking swastika in it. So much for all that anti-Nazi shit he did. I want whoever animated that to give us an explanation right fucking now. And no, don't give me that bullshit. But it's a Hindu peace symbol, but it's a Buddhist peace symbol. Shut the fuck up. You knew what you were doing.
Also, as if the paraphernalia couldn't sound dirtier, some of those creatures looked like sperm.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Ugh.
I was gonna say deflated balloon, but yeah.
Also, let me go on record in saying that Thurl Ravenscroft and Paul Frees have some of the greatest fucking voices in media. And this really showcases it because their voices are so fucking smooth as butter, but also they do a good job of giving you fucking chills down the back of your spine.
There will never be other voice actors like them.
It matches perfectly. And also, I swear to God that one of the creatures was a crab experiment. The one that's
Oh my God, it was. No.
Yes!
It was a Seuss experiment.
Gasp!
See also, Seuss paralysis demon.
No, boo.
Yay!
Worth it. I love you.
I love you too.
And this,
Imagine if Seuss paralysis was an actual thing, and it literally was sleep paralysis, but the hallucinations you have are Seussian, I guess is the best way to...
You're seeing what I saw as a kid. You're seeing the Cat in the Hat poke through your door, and you're pissing yourself in bed.
Okay, fuck Lovecraftian. We're done with Lovecraftian. When it comes to creating monsters, we're going Seussian.
Oh,
now.
fuck yes.
We're gonna have a big, scary, creepypasta monster called the Wuzzle, or whatever the fuck it is, and it's gonna be Seuss looking and also terrifying at the same time.
You know, I really wish that Audrey Geisel, you know, as great as she was, as justified as she was in vetoing any live-action movies past 2003, I kind of wish she would have let her guard down and given us at least, like, a fucking proper Halloween Horror Nights Seuss scare zone.
Right? That would be amazing.
The closest we got was this thing in Seuss Landing in, I think, 2002, where it was basically Grinch Night, and that you had fog left and right when it was pretty much obscuring your view. You couldn't see anything except for these projections on the walls of, like, who's, like, frantically running around because it's Grinch Night, like, trying to, like, stock up for Grinch Night or whatnot. And I really wish they would have gone all out with it.
Yes. While we were talking about Fox News earlier, remember how last year they threw a huge fucking fit over 6 books that no one even read before getting canceled? You just know they'd be throwing a fit over this special. They'd say, oh, this is a satanic panic bullshit. Nah, the Grinch is satanic. I don't know.
It encourages kids to take drugs.
You know that the same people today who threw a hissy fit over the Seuss Publishing Company saying, we don't want to publish specific books that aren't even popular because of racism, and they all threw a fucking hissy fit and acted like the Cat in the Hat was getting canceled by liberals.
I mean, we can cancel Cat in the Hat.
No, we can and we will.
Yes.
Let's cancel him for being terrifying.
That's another thing too. Have you guys ever heard of Tim Allen's Cat in the Hat movie pitch?
Oh God, I think I have.
What?
Yeah, so before Mike Myers signed on, well, he didn't sign on. He was kind of forced into the role, but that's another story. Before Mike Myers was forced into the Cat in the Hat movie, Tim Allen was going to do his own version of it where he was going to make the Cat in the Hat, like, fucking horrifying.
Oh, God.
He was going to make it, like, about this guy, played, of course, by Tim Allen, who slowly transforms into the Cat in the Hat.
So it's the Santa Claus.
It's literally just the Cat in the Hat Claus.
So, like, you know, fuck Tim Allen, but I would have loved to see that, just to see how they would have done that, because it probably would have been even more of a train wreck, quite frankly.
Why are they making a Grinch horror movie that's probably going to get massively sued by the Seuss organization when the Cat in the Hat is right there?
Well, Kit, he's not the Grinch in that. He's the mean one.
Gasp.
As opposed to the nice one?
Also, I love how it's been established also, not just in the 2000 movie, but pretty much in the parks at this point, that the Grinch really only begrudgingly changed his ways. Yeah. Like, his heart grew 3 times that day, but he wasn't happy about it. Because, like, he's nice, he likes Christmas, but he's still a fucking asshole about it.
He's basically like Cusco.
Do you think we're gonna see a comeback of that trend where cops arrest the fucking Grinch?
Good God, they completely did not read the story at all.
Tell me you missed the point of the Butter Battle book without saying you missed the point of the Butter Battle book. Try saying that 3 times fast.
No.
So this all ends when
I won't, actually.
When Euchariah tells the Grinch, hey, the wind stops. That means you gotta go home now. Bye. What if we did that?
Okay, bye.
What if we did that to bigots? We just told them, okay, the wind changed. You gotta go away now. Bye.
Punch a Grinch.
But why?
Just punch a Grinch whenever you can.
Stand up to the Grinch.
Yes.
Why is the wind his only gateway into Whoville? What is with the wind? Is it like blowing this like gas or something that he will die without?
That explains fascism and bigotry. The wind was wrong.
Is it like how when the tide goes out at the beach, you can just kind of like walk and mosey around somewhere you normally drown in?
Yes, you can.
Also, I gotta say, Euchariah is completely unfazed at the traumatic horror he witnessed in that fucking box. I'm surprised that kid isn't, like, permanently just destroyed by the trauma, quite frankly.
He looks more like he took way too much acid at Woodstock and had a spiritual experience.
Well, once he gets off
gonna...
the sedative, he's going to be just shaking and pissing.
Yeah. He's going to grow up and just realize, what the fuck was that?
Also, Max runs away with him because he's a good boy and he deserves a better home.
He does.
Euchariah is going to wake up on his front lawn with a killer headache and being like, oh my god, what the fuck just happened?
Also, the Grinch implies that he's gonna come back, so does that mean it's predicting
How
Christmas?
does dog get here?
Yeah, that's a good question, quite frankly. Like, does he, like, come back? Does he actually have the fucking nerve to actually become a kaiju and just stomp on Whoville already? Like,
maybe he's not actually a kaiju, but he can just, like, project his image to make himself look better, but the rest of him that's not his actual size is basically a hologram.
Maybe it was just in his imagination. Who knows?
alright, so for Halloween is Grinch night. Do we keep the tapes, put in the donation box, or burn the tapes? Lottie?
I think we keep the tapes because I think the special doesn't get as much love as it is because it is so dark. I wonder if that's part of the issue. But, you know, it's interesting to see the Grinch's story not be all this happy, lovely Christmas, you know, stuff. It can be dark and scary and drug-fueled, apparently. So, yeah, keep it.
That's an interesting point, by the way, is that, you know, the Seuss estate never really made it a point to completely suppress this and act like it never happened, because it got several re-releases. The most recent one was in 2018 on the Ultimate Edition of the How the Grinch Stole Christmas cartoon, along with the Grinch is the Cat in the Hat, too. So, yeah. I mean, we were talking about that with Runaway Brain, but, like, I really wish that media conglomerates would actually embrace the scarier sides of their characters more often.
It would make people happy. They should do it. Yeah, I gotta give this a huge keep the tapes as well. This is a fun special. Like, it shouldn't work as well as it does, but it does, and it's not afraid to give some really cool art direction, some great songs. It's a really solid prequel to The Grinch overall, and I'd say definitely check it out if you haven't.
Definitely a solid keep for me. This is just so beautifully 70s, even in the parts that are, like, kind of flawed. They're flawed in, like, just such a 70s way.
Alright, so it's unanimous. We're keeping the tapes. Like I said, this is such a great fucking special, and again, like, more franchises and stuff like this need to embrace the scary side. Like, not really all the time, but, like, at least once in a while. Like, do something intentionally scary just as a treat, you know?
There was something about the late 70s to the early 80s in animation and children's film. They were trying to traumatize your kids.
Yes.
I actually low-key miss that. I love that for more animated movies to just be, what if it was just really fucked up and there's no reason for it?
We need more fucked up, dark, like Black Cauldron, Don Bluth, Ralph Bakshi stuff.
Yes.
We need more of that.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Watch Wendell and Wild on Netflix. It's amazing.
Yes!
I'm gonna.
Yes!
Alright, so, Lottie, thank you so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Bestie.
Yes! Oh, man. Hey, I just realized this was a double date.
Oh, I was!
Yes!
Yay!
We'll have more of those in the future, I promise.
Fuck yeah!
Alright. So, is there anything you want to plug?
Not really. I don't have anything. You mentioned my Twitter. Follow if you want to see really bad jokes and puns.
Yeah, some demons, by the way, all one word.
Because it's a BuzzFeed Unsolved reference.
Yay!
Yes.
You can learn of one of our no escape topics, Ben Bernard.
Oh yes, learn how I've fallen into that pit.
Oh man.
You can find me over on the usual Mission Breakout Twitter and Discord, and vote blue before or on November 8th. Let's save this damn country, please.
God, please.
You can find me on the usual Cosmic Rewind on both Twitter and YouTube. Yep, that's it. You can also find me on episodes of various other select podcasts that we have mentioned before. And please stop voting for Republicans.
Yeah.
It's not funny anymore.
No more Republicans.
It stopped being funny a while ago. I'm scared.
Just vote blue. What are you waiting for?
For the love of God, they don't have to be perfect.
It is no longer our taxes at stake. It is the planet.
Alright, you can find me on the usual spots. Tyler FG on Twitter, TylerFG96 on Instagram. You can find the show at channel_KRT on Twitter, Channel KRT Podcast, all one word, on Instagram. We also have our Facebook group and our Discord server. And if you want to help support us, you can also check us out on Patreon, where we have exclusive minisodes, outtakes, and episodes of this very podcast at its earliest convenience. And now we're also on Ko-Fi, where you can also find exclusive minisodes and outtakes, but you can purchase them individually. If you just want to give us money, you can donate whatever you'd like. Just do whatever you can to get the word out. So
give us your money.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's already, supported the Ko-Fi page. And of course, thank you to our pals Gomer, Chris Freyna, and Tony Goldmark for pledging us the $10 level. Woo! And a huge thank you to our executive producer, Mike.
Channel KRT, go into the paraphernalia wagon.
Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.